You don't get drained because you hate people. You get drained because every room asks more from your mind than anyone can see. While everyone else is just hanging out, you're tracking tone, tension, interruptions, mood shifts, and everything no one is saying. And by the time the interaction ends, you're exhausted from carrying more of it than anyone realizes. You've probably spent years wondering if something is wrong with you. Why 3 hours with people can leave you more tired than a full day of work. Why you can genuinely like someone and still feel that small wave of relief when plans get canceled. Why, halfway through a gathering, you suddenly find yourself in the bathroom checking your phone, not because anything happened, but because you need 30 seconds where nobody is looking at you. You notice that, but you rarely say it out loud. You've been called quiet, distant, hard to read. You've heard the jokes about being antisocial, the comments about needing to come out of your shell, and part of you has tried to outgrow it. You've pushed yourself into more conversations than you wanted, stayed at gatherings long after your energy was gone, watched other people still laughing while your brain quietly shut down. You've stood there nodding at the right time, holding a drink you didn't even want, already thinking about how good it will feel to get home and close the door. So let's strip this of the usual labels. You are not arrogant for needing space. You are not broken for feeling tired when everyone else feels warmed up. You are not behind, defective, or too sensitive for this world. You are a nervous system with its own settings, and those settings make more sense than you think. You've probably noticed patterns so consistent they almost feel scripted. One real, unhurried conversation can leave you grounded for days. But an evening of small talk with 5 different people can leave you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m, wondering why you feel hollow. You can feel completely alone in a crowded room, but completely content alone in your own space on a random Tuesday night. You pick up on the thing someone almost said, then swallowed. You feel the temperature of a room shift before anyone comments on it. You sense when 2 people are slightly off with each other, even if nothing obvious happened. On the outside, you look calm. Inside, you're running a full diagnostic on everything and everyone around you. You've also noticed that your energy doesn't drain evenly. A quiet coffee with one person you trust, you're fine. A group where everyone talks over each other and nothing really lands, you leave feeling like your brain has been sanded down. Sometimes you rehearse a sentence in your head, wait for the right moment, and then watch the conversation move right past you. So you let it go. Later, alone, the conversation starts back up in your head, except now you finally get to say the thing you meant to say the first time. A big part of this comes from how your mind prefers to work. You don't just hear words, you process context. When someone speaks, you're registering their history with you, their tone, their body language, the timing of when they chose to say it. Your attention doesn't sit on the surface. You're in the moment and slightly above it at the same time, participating, but also observing, connecting, predicting. Your thoughts like to move inward, planning, reflecting, replaying, making sense of things. That is introvert psychology in real time, more internal traffic, less outward broadcast. So when you walk into a loud, fast, crowded space, you're not starting from zero. Your mind is already at 70%, quietly busy with its own processes. The environment does not wake you up. It takes you from 70 to 120. You are not weak in social settings. You are overloaded in environments that reward less awareness. Of course, that feels like too much. There is another layer to it. Some nervous systems are built for constant input. They crave loud music, overlapping conversations, flashing lights, new faces, new places, non-stop novelty. For those people, that level of stimulation feels like fuel. For you, the same setup can feel like mental overexposure. You don't need 10 things happening at once to feel alive. One vivid moment is enough. That's why other people can bounce from event to event and still feel like they're barely getting started, while you can spend a slow evening alone and feel strangely complete. You may have noticed that what other people call boring often feels like relief. A familiar cafe, a quiet room, a walk you've done 100 times. Watching the little car icon creep across the Uber map on the way home and feeling your whole body calm down before you've even arrived. Quiet people. Psychology isn't about emptiness. It's about precision. Less noise, more meaning. Your thinking style follows the same logic. You replay conversations after they end, not because you enjoy overthinking, but because that's when your mind finally has enough space to catch up. You remember exact phrases, the way someone's eyes changed on one particular sentence, the point where their mood shifted and they pretended it didn't. Other people leave the moment and move on. Your mind stays with it, layering meaning until the whole picture starts to form. Your feelings work like that too. They don't always appear in the middle of the moment. They show up later when things are finally quiet enough for you to hear them. Sometimes you don't even realize how overwhelmed you were until you get home, put your keys down, sit on the edge of the bed for a second, and feel everything drop at once. That's when the headache shows up, the sudden exhaustion, the weird need to sit in silence and do absolutely nothing for an hour. From the outside, it looks like you're sitting still. Inside, the backlog is finally being processed. And there's a private tension running under all of this. Because part of you loves the quiet, the evenings with no plans, the long stretches of time where nobody expects anything from you. But another part of you worries. You ask yourself, is this peace? Or am I just hiding? Do I genuinely prefer being alone? Or did I just learn that being around people is too expensive? When you turn down invitations, is that self-respect or fear? That is the private question quiet people ask themselves that louder people almost never see. On some days, solitude feels like a choice, a home you return to. On other days, it feels like proof that you're not built for the world everyone else seems to live in so easily. You watch other people glide through group settings that drain you. You start to wonder if you're somehow unfinished. You are not bad at being around people. You are just taking in more of them than most people do. Here is the truth underneath all of it. Your exhaustion around people is not a flaw. It is a calibration. Your mind is tuned for depth, not constant exposure. You notice more. You process more. You carry more. Of course, you get tired faster. Being drained after social situations doesn't mean you're incapable of connection. If anything, it means you treat connection as something serious enough that your system can't fake it for long. You don't want to half listen. You don't want to split your attention across 10 shallow conversations. You don't want to perform a version of yourself that isn't actually there. Your system wants presence or rest, not endless stimulation. That's why a quiet evening doesn't feel like some sad backup plan. It feels like exactly what your system needed. The slow dinner alone, the show you rewatch because it's familiar, the hobby you come back to in silence. From the outside, it might look like doing nothing, but for your nervous system, that's when everything finally reorganizes itself. You are not empty because you need space. You are not cold because you are quiet. You are someone whose inner world runs rich enough that the outside world can feel loud by comparison. And once you stop treating that as a defect, your exhaustion stops sounding like failure. It starts sounding like information. Information that says, you notice more. You process more, you feel more, and because of that, you are allowed to need more time to come back to yourself. But there is one more question that people like you end up asking, usually in private. If being alone feels this natural, if quiet feels this necessary, then how do you know when it's peace and when it's just hiding in a form that feels safer? That's the next question we need to look at.